Picher, Oklahoma, once a warm and wholesome town in Ottawa County, turned ghost town. The cause? Mining operations with little to no environmental safety oversight. From 1915 to 2009, an official city of the state of Oklahoma, with over 14,000 citizens at its peak. It was at one point the most productive mining site for lead and zinc, and produced over $20 billion worth from 1917 to 1947. So what happened? In this video, we will take a brief glance into the cause of the disincorporation and subsequent evacuation of Picher, Oklahoma. In a visit to Picher, Oklahoma, you are immediately struck by the vast silence that encompasses the area. What was once a bustling town now stands empty and abandoned, overtaken by weeds and vines. On a walk through one of the few standing housing developments, signs of residential life are still surprisingly abundant. All buildings left standing are marked warning against entrance due to damage by a 2014 F4 tornado that decimated what remained of the town. The buildings have all been stripped of internal components such as stoves, furniture, and appliances, and are awaiting demolition. It is hard to imagine why people would leave a perfectly good housing development like this, until you consider one thing: toxic runoff from the piles of lead and zinc that surround the area. Lead-zinc runoff seeped into the groundwater and slowly began poisoning Picher citizens. The lead poisoning of Picher went largely unnoticed for countless years, in which time it would manifest as a birth defect or other deformity, in a rare case. It became more widely recognized as people began to see a decline in the test scores of Picher's youth. They were scoring on a much lower average, and many of them were being classified with learning disabilities. As the Picher scandal came to light, the U.S. government Environmental Protection Agency began acting on purchasing land in Picher. They were buying people's homes and their land, trying to relocate them. The issue they ran into was that people did not want to leave their home. Many of the Picher residents had family in there stretching back to 1915. Another issue encountered was that citizens didn't have the means to start a new life somewhere else, and they were more or less trapped in Picher. The final straw for many of the Picher residents came in 2008, when the city was struck by an F4 tornado, which destroyed several homes and injured 140 people, killing 8. Shortly after this, in 2009, Picher voted 55-4 to dissolve the Picher School District. This put many of the residents in a position where they had no other choice than to sell their home and their land to the Environmental Protection Agency, or risk their child going uneducated and being at even more severe disadvantage than they were. As can be seen, along with the few remaining housing developments, are the foundations and ruins of former homes. A majority of the city is ruins, and what is not is U.S. property and is marked as such. Moving from the city, we tackle the true environmental issue here. The countless piles of chat, or runoff millings and waste from the lead zinc mines. The chat piles are impressive in number and size. They span most of the city, and what they do not directly border, they can be seen from in the distance. The chat piles were a common pastime for citizens of Picher, which would also help to start to explain the high lead concentrations found in the blood of Picher children. Many of the chat piles have since been returned underground after the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers found in 2008 that 88% of Picher was structurally unstable and could collapse at any time. The Picher disaster could have been averted had mining operations given thought to proper disposal of waste. The Picher disaster holds relevance today as more and more scandals come out about lead toxicity in water. The most recent being in Flint, Michigan. Had those cities looked to Picher as an example and run the other way, then it is likely these crises could have been avoided. And that is why Picher, Oklahoma holds importance today.